All right, let's get into the demo of Avid MediaCentral Editorial Management. Now, this is a great new workflow module which we will be releasing shortly, which can be added to the Avid MediaCentral platform. So you have your Nexus, you have a server, and the server will now be able to index and look at all of the media across your entire Nexus storage system. So you'll have access to projects and media, being able to actually see frames, being able to search by metadata across all of your projects within Media Composer, but also in a web browser. So this is all dependent on the role that you have in your facility. So let's start out looking at the heart of MediaCentral Editorial Management, which is Avid Nexus. So this is the new flashless UI, which is great because it can run on a desktop, laptop, or even a mobile device. You'll see you have your dashboard, which shows you connectivity with who's connected, certain bandwidth and performance. You can go in and see your installers. So your users, you basically set up and you give permissions to who can and can't see certain workspaces. And again, this is the basis of MediaCentral Editorial Management. So we take a look at my settings. These are the read and write access that I have to certain workspaces. Now you also see your workspaces here. If you want to go in and do any sort of the dynamic reallocation of workspace size, you still have the ability to do it in the new UI. But as you know, Avid Nexus just works. It's an amazing piece of hardware and a great product for us. So let's go into first taking a look at Media Composer and how MediaCentral Editorial Management will work here. Now, one thing you'll notice is when you go into launching Media Composer, besides your projects, is you do get a little window down here, little selection to open up to log into MediaCentral. So I'll go ahead and log in using my credentials. And again, this is the exact same credentials that you use with Nexus. You'll see I now have access. And I'm going to go into the I Can Cook project right here and open that up. So you have all of the standard tools. You have everything you have within Media Composer, all of your bins, all of the tools. But the real great new addition here with MediaCentral Editorial Management is when you go to the Tools menu, you'll see there is an option to select MediaCentral Editorial Management. And this opens up another panel inside of the editor, which gives me access across, again, my entire Nexus storage system with the workspaces that I have available to me. So you see, these are my Nexus workspaces right here. And just to show you, if I go to the Nexus Client Manager, you'll see that audio, cooking, webisode, those are all the exact same workspaces that you see right here. So this is very familiar to anybody who's used to using Avid Nexus and having access to their workspaces. But nice thing here is I can go into a project. This is an Avid project. We'll look at I Can Cook and take a look at the iconography here. You'll see you have your bins look like bins, and you also have your bin locking that you have with Nexus. This is fantastic. So if I want to go ahead and take a look at some media here, let's go ahead and open up the cooking. This is Avid Media. I'm seeing a frame that's available to me, so I can easily go in and take a clip, drag it up here, and have access to it. Take one of these here. It's also showing me in the bin where that is. But the real power here is I can go ahead and look at media in another project. Let's go to the nature project, because let's say as we're talking about cooking, we may want to look at a certain region that maybe the cuisine that we're using is coming from. Or maybe we're doing seafood and want to have some fish shots. So again, some nice tools here where I can now go in and drag this clip up into my project or double click, and it brings in that clip, opens up the bin that it came from, and now you'll see even the Nexus bin is loaded into my project here. So a great tool to just browse across your assets and your projects using MediaCentral Editorial Management. So the first app you see across the top here is Browse. I'm just browsing through my projects to see what I may want to be adding or searching for. Now, searching is another app. You'll see the search app right next to browse here. In the first version of MediaCentral Editorial Management, you have browsing and search capabilities, and the searching is really powerful. You'll see on the left side here you have a little histogram, so if you want a span of time that you're trying to search, you can see the results currently up in the window, say 2,111 assets. If I choose a certain date range, it filters out to 1,245 across that range which I've selected here. So you'll see again when I turn that off, I have 2,111 assets that it's searching for. You can also see it breaks it down by creation date, last hour, last 24 hours, last week, last year. You'll see modified date. You'll see duration ranges if you're trying to find something for a certain duration and how many assets that equals. So again, some really nice ways to go in and search for media. But what's really cool is you can also search for metadata. Let's say I have some other interview shots. I have Doc Krotzer I want to look for, so we'll search for Doc. It searches and filters out. There's 50 shots of Doc right here. But I actually want to find just the wide shots. So let me go ahead and add another filter of wide, and it's showing me now all of the wide shots. So there's 15 of those that I can bring in to my project. All right. So some really nice control there. But what's also nice is we can search by markers. If you have markers that are set on your media, anywhere across your project, we are doing a cooking show, so I want to find shots where maybe it was marked with garlic. So we type in the word garlic and found 2 shots there. Simply drag that in and we'll see we're right at the garlic marker from that clip. And you'll see if I go to my markers window, those are all of the markers that I could search for. Again, any markers that you have set up. So being able to, inside of Media Composer, browse and search across your assets, really there's a lot of power there to be able to add that to your workflow. Just a little side note here, in version 1, we have the panel available inside of Media Composer, but in a future version, we will also have this panel available inside of Adobe Premiere. That's right. So we've shown this inside of Media Composer, but the real power here is going to also be using it depending on what your role is in a web browser. So let me go ahead to MediaCentral. You'll see if I log out, I'm just going to go ahead and log back in using the exact same credentials that would log into my Nexus and also into Editorial Management. And again, you'll see I have my Nexus workspaces down the left-hand side here. I can open those up, look at projects. We'll go into I Can Cook and take a look at the cooking bin. Again, you'll see the iconography is exactly the same. And this is just in the web browser. So if I want to look at media, how many times have you wanted to take a look at Avid Media, but you couldn't because you didn't have Media Composer? All you had was a bin full of MXF files. Well, now with the project, I can actually go in, double click, and it's going to load up into a little player my Avid Media. Ooh, very exciting. Yeah, that's really cool. So we have some really great control here, and you'll see the responsiveness is pretty fantastic. This is now playing back an HTML5 representation of the media that I am basically streaming through the web browser. But it is frame accurate. It is media running directly from the media that is in the Avid Nexus. Again, double click, brings up the player. We want to take a look at any metadata. We open up the metadata tab. I can scroll through all the metadata, which is searchable. I can even go in and add descriptions. Good shot. Please use a little marker that can be searched on. But markers, let's go back and take a look. If I go to the markers tab, these are the exact same markers that were inside of the editor that, if I created it inside of Media Composer, I would see them here. But what's really cool is I could even create them in the web browser, in the web app. So let's say, okay, she's unwrapping some cheese, removing plastic. Let's just go ahead and put a little marker here. We'll type in removing plastic. Very exciting. And now that marker is set on that piece of media. And depending on how you log in, of course, the username would be assigned to whoever put the markers on. So really nice there. And now this is something that can be searchable. Now we have in the web browser, again, being able to browse the media, being able to click and play the media, being able to add markers. But we can also go in, also search. So we do have the search app. If we are trying to find any marker where she's talking about her clients, I double click and it brings up any of those markers. Here she is talking about her corporate clients. Again, we can play that back.
Company. I basically work with both private clients and corporate clients during the week.
Now, being able to go in and browse inside of the web app is really great, but what's also really powerful is I could even go in and create bins in the web browser. So, let's go back to our I Can Cook. Go into, I'll switch to the little view here, see all of our bins, but I'm going to create a new bin just by right-clicking and create bin. Now this is my hyper bin. This is creating the bin outside of Media Composer through the web browser. And I'm going to call this day 5, just random bin, hit create. And you'll see day 5 comes up as a bin in my I Can Cook project. So if I double click, we open it up, you'll see that there's nothing in it. So I actually want to introduce media to it. Introduce Avid media, introduce linked media. So let's go to search. I want to search for, let's say, garlic. Could be anything in the naming, could be a marker, and I'm going to use the docking feature by taking the Browse app and dropping it down here. And now with day 5 open, we see that in the breadcrumbs, I can simply take a clip of media from the garlic search, drag and drop it over here, and it's now going to introduce that clip into the day 5 bin through the web browser. This is the power of the hyperbin. Let's say you want to go in and find, where she was talking about the clients. Any shots there. We'll search through all the media, take one of these, and we'll drag and drop it over here. And it drops that clip in. And we'll do one more. So again, simply in the web browser, dragging and dropping clips from search in browse into the bin. But the cool thing is, I'm outside of Media Composer. Once I go into Media Composer, you'll see that day 5 populates as a bin right here. I double click, and those 3 clips that I introduced in the web app of MediaCentral is now available to me right here in Media Composer. So total collaboration, being able to do all of that through the web browser, having the panel inside of Media Composer, giving you the ability to keep everybody in sync while working is the real beauty and power behind MediaCentral editorial management. So great. Quick little demo, little overview, and I think we have some time for a little Q&A. What do you think?